प्रकृतये प्रकृतिः पञ्चभूतानि ग्रहालोकास्वरास्तथा दशकालस्य सर्वेषां सदा कुर्वन्तु मङ्गलम् रत्नाकरादौ तपदां हिमालयकिनीटिनीं ब्रह्मराजस्य रत्नाढ्यां वन्दे भारतमातरम् महेन्द्रो मलयः संयो देवतात्मा हिमालयः देयो रैवतको विन्द्यो गिरिस्थानावरिस्तथा गङ्गा सरस्वती सिन्धुर्ब्रह्मपुत्रश्च गण्डकी कावेरी यमुना रेवा कृष्णा गोदा महानदी अयोध्या मथुरा माया काशी काञ्ची अवन्तिका वैशाली द्वारिका देया पुरी तक्षशिला गया प्रयागः पाटलीपुत्रं विजयानगरं महात् इन्द्रप्रस्थं सोमनाथः तथामृतसरप्रियं चतुर्वेदा पुराणानि सर्वोपनिषदस्तथा रामायणं भारतं च गीतासप्तदर्शनानि च जैनागमास्त्रिपिटका गुरुग्रन्थस्तदां गिरः येष ज्ञाननिधि श्रेष्ठः श्रद्धयोगिति सर्वदा अरुन्धत्या न सूर्या च जानकी अरुन्धत्यानसूया च सावित्री जानकी सती द्रौपदी कण्णगी गार्गी मीरा दुर्गावती तथा लक्ष्मीरहल्या चन्नम्मा रुद्रमामा सुविक्रमा निवेदिता शारदा च प्रणम्या मातृदेवताः श्रीरामो भरतः कृष्णो भीष्मो धर्मस्तथार्जुनः मार्कण्डेयो हरिश्चन्द्रः प्रह्लादो नारदो ध्रुवः
सङ्गशक्तिप्रणेतारौ केशवो माधवस्तथा स्मरणीया सदैवैते नवचैतन्यदायकाः अनुक्ता ये भक्ता प्रभुचरणसंसक्तहृदयाः अविज्ञाता वीरा अधिसमरमुद्ध्वस्तरिपवः समाजोद्धर्तारः सुहृतकरविज्ञाननिपुणाः नमस्तेभ्यो भूयात् सकलसुजनेभ्यः प्रतिदिनम् इदमेकात्मतास्तोत्रं श्रद्धया यः सदा पठेत् स राष्ट्रधर्मनिष्ठावान् अखण्डं भारतं स्मरेत्। भारत माता की जय। धन्यवाद पल्लवी, good dissertation. We'll move on to the presentations we expect from today. So last time there was a gap from your presentations. I took some of the great personalities. Now we'll start with the personalities presentation from your side. So we'll start with as per the list that I have published on that day. So the first presentation will be from Vedika. Vedika will present on Ekalavya.
Yes,
Vedika?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir, can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, now we can see.
Namaste, I'm Vedika and I'll be presenting on Ekalavya, an amazing example for a loyal and sincere student as mentioned in the Mahabharata. Introduction. So basically, Ekalavya was born to a poor family, that of the hunters, and had great interest in learning archery. And such was his compassion that he wanted to learn the art only because he wanted to save the deer in the forest from being hunted by leopards. And therefore, he approached Dronacharya, who was actually the teacher of the royal family, and there was a rule which was set up which said that the guru of the royal family couldn't teach the state art to anybody else. So this prohibited Ekalavya from learning archery, and the rule actually had a valid reason. Um, for the safety of the region, it was made sure that no one was made as powerful as the kings. Um, Ekalavya's strong desire. Ekalavya really wanted to learn from Dronacharya and also had considered him as his guru at heart. Drona, being the state law, couldn't undertake Ekalavya as a student. Later, Ekalavya was no ideal of and learned archery sincerely with perseverance, and turned out to be better at the skill than the royal princesses. So he made himself so proficient that he would shoot any animal just by listening to its sound. Uh, Arjuna, as we know, one of the Pandavas, of course, a student of Dronacharya, also came to know about Ekalavya and then inquired him about his guru. And as Ekalavya mentioned Drona, Arjuna grew furious. He went up to Drona and told him that he had been cheated all these days, and this was regarded as a crime. And so Drona was totally confused with Arjuna's assertions. He was in a very rhetoric stage, and he couldn't even believe that there could be a student better than Arjuna in archery. So both of them, out of curiosity, decided to meet Ekalavya. He handled Arjun with great affection and respect. And during the ancient times, instead of a fee, Guru used to take a Guru Dakshina from the students. So Drona asked Ekalavya to give to offer his right thumb in the form of the Guru Dakshina. But although Ekalavya's archery could not be performed without the right thumb, he cut his right thumb off without even a second of contemplation. And yeah, so Drona was very impressed with Ekalavya, so he blessed him with immortality. And so, whenever devotion is thought of, Ekalavya alone is thought of. And what we can take away from this presentation would be to be loyal with our teachers. So, I would like to end this presentation with the famous shloka dedicated to gurus. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you.
Thank you, Vedika. A good presentation with a good content. We'll move to the next presentation by Sachit. Sachit, will you
Sir,
present on Dadichi or Manu? There is a choice for you
sir,
actually.
which should I do, sir? If you tell, I'll do it, sir.
Whichever you have prepared, if you have prepared both,
You take
you
both,
can.
sir.
Okay, then go ahead with Dadichi.
Okay, sir. 1 minute, sir. So can you see it, sir?
Yeah, yeah, you
Okay,
can.
sir. Okay, sir. Namaste to everyone. Today I'll be presenting on stage the DG is a great example for sacrifice for a greater good. Introduction. Dadichi is also known as Dadyancha or Dadyanga. He is a central character in Hinduism. Dadichi is primarily known for sacrificing his life so that the Devas can win against a demon called Vritra. Due to the sacrifice, Indra got his main weapon Vajra from his backbone. Indra was driven out of Swarga or heaven by a serpent king called Vritra. The Devas needed a powerful weapon to aid their fight. By making use of Vajra out of Sage Dadichi's backbone, the Devas defeated the Asuras and reclaimed heaven. Dadichi is also known as Ashwasira, or the one with the horse's head. Dadichi is said to have been a master of Vedic art known as Brahma Vidya. It enabled him to get immortality. Indra was scared of it and thought it would be insecure for other people to know how to become immortal. Especially people like Dadichi who possessed of the virtue of being a rishi, Indra was scared of them. Indra was against the Ashwini twins learning Brahma Vidya and swore that he would behead the one who taught the art. However, Ashwini twins wished to learn his art and devised a plan to protect Dadichi from Indra's power. They learned the art from Dadichi and therefore cut his head, preserving it, and then replaced his original head with a horse's head. Indra was blind with wrath, came and beheaded Dadichi. But his horse head was cut, then the Ashwini twins replaced his horse head with his real head and revived Dadichi. Because they had Madhu Vidya, which he only had taught them, so he was revived again. This was why Dadichi was known as Ashwashira, the tale of Vajrayudha. Dadichi was asked to safeguard the weapons of Devas as they were unable to protect and match the arcane arts of Asuras who were about to steal the weapons of the Devas. Dadichi is said to have kept the task for a long time and finally he was tired of it as he wanted to meditate. So he dissolved the weapons in a sacred water and drank them. When the Devas returned after some time to ask their weapons for the fight, as they could have defeated the Asuras and defeated Vritra. Dadichi said that he had, however, drank the weapons and it was now part of his bones. Realizing that his bones were the only way which the Devas could defeat the Asuras, he willingly sacrificed his life in a pit of mystical flames, summoned with his power. And then Brahma said that Brahma then fashioned the weapons from his bones and gave it to Indra and the Devas. Indra then got Vajrayudha, from which he could defeat the Asuras. Dhanyavad. Sir, can I present to the Manu, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Lord Manu. Manu is a term found in various meanings in Hinduism. It could be known as progenitor of humanity or also the first man. But also in some other texts, it's written that there are 14 Manus or 14 Kshatriya rulers who will alternatively, in a cyclic kalpa, create mythical dynasties and make the world a new world. The Shraddha Manu is the current Manu and the seventh of the 14 Manus of current kalpa. He is considered the progenitor of humanity as he protected humanity from a great disaster. Vaivashvata Manu, also known as Shraddha Manu. Vaivashvata Manu was the son of Vivaswan, a Lord Surya, and his wife Lady Sanjana. According to Matsya Purana, Vaivashvata Manu was king of a Dravida kingdom in the south, and Lord Matsya first appeared as a small carp fish in front of Manu. Out of compassion, the king saved the fish from the river and put it in a small jar. But the fish kept getting bigger and bigger, and soon enough it would not fit in a lake. Then Shraddha Manu took it to a tank. Even it would not fit in the tank also. In the end, he put it in the ocean. The fish nearly encompassed the whole ocean. Then Lord Vishnu revealed his true form and informed Manu of a big flood or Mahapralaya, becoming the progenitor of humanity. The king built a huge boat which housed his family, Saptarishi, 9 types of seeds and animals to repopulate the earth. After the deluge would end and the oceans and seas would recede. At the time of deluge, Vishnu appeared as a horned fish, and Shesha appeared as a rope with which the king fastened the boat to the horn of the fish. The boat was perched after the deluge on the top of the Malaya mountains after the deluge. Manu's family and the seven sages repopulated the earth as the world had become barren due to the great deluge. Lord Manu's legacy. Shraddha Deva or Vaivasvata Manu married Shraddha and had 10 children including Ila and Ikshvaku, who were the progenitors of lunar and solar dynasties respectively. Ikshvaku then created the solar age, which would be famous for its king Lord Sri Ram. We humans are the children of Manu, thus the name Manavas. All humans are equal as we all are the same ancestors of Lord Manu. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Richard. Good information. So let's complete the presentation. Now we'll move to the next presentation from Vividya. Vividya will present on Chakravarti Shibi. Vividya, you are on mute. Can you unmute?
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead with your presentation.
sir, I have not made a PPT, sir.
Yeah, with whatever text you have, we can present that one.
Yes, sir. So I'm presenting on Chakravarti Shibi. Chakravarti Shibi was a descendant of King Bharata of the Lunar dynasty, and he was very famous for his truthfulness, justice, and keeping his word. So the king of righteousness, Dharmaraja, wanted to test the strength and character of Shibi Chakravarti. Once, when Chakravarti Shibi was alone on his terrace of his palace, a pigeon came to his court and it was trembling with fear. Chakravarti lovingly held it in his hands, and just then a hawk flew towards him and said, "O king, return my prey to me." However, Chakravarti Shibi refused and said that this pigeon has taken refuge with me. If I return it to you, you will eat it, and I shall acquire sin. So the hawk said that he was also hungry and the pigeon was his food. So if he snatched it away from him, he will die of starvation and then he wouldn't acquire sin. So Shibi replied, "No, that is not my intention. You can ask for any other food and I shall give it to you." So the hawk said, I eat meat, so you give me your flesh equal in the weight of that pigeon. To the shock of everyone present, Shivi readily agreed for this. He ordered his men to get a weighing scale, and the pigeon was kept on one side of the weighing scale, and Shivi placed a piece of flesh from his thigh on the other. And no matter how much flesh was cut from the king's body and kept in the scale, it could not outweigh the pigeon. Finally, Chakravarti Shivi himself sat on the scale. Suddenly, the pigeon and the hawk vanished, and in their place stood Agni Devata and deity Indra. They both blessed Chakravarti Shivi and said, "We had come to test you, and you are really very kind and just." So they restored his body and left the palace.
Thank you, Vidya, for the story on Shivi Chakravarti. The next presentation is from Suyash. Suyash will present on Rantideva, King Rantideva.
Yeah, just one second.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So King Rantideva, King Rantideva is not only is well known not only in Bhuloka but also in the Urdhvalokas for his dana. Rantideva never endeavored to earn anything for himself. He would enjoy whatever he got, and when Atithi's guests came, he would give them whatever they needed. He gave away everything he had to the poor and underwent considerable suffering along with the members of his family. Finally, he and his family members did not even get food and water, yet Rantideva was always satisfied. Stuti Pragna, it is known as that's what it's known as. It's known as being unshakable and devoted to your cause of dana. So the most famous story of Rantideva and why he's actually so revered is the trials of Rantideva, where the Trimurtis tested him. So one morning after fasting for 48 days, Rantideva received some water and some payasam. Just when he was about to eat, a Brahmin Atithi arrived. Because Rantideva perceived the presence of the Paramatma everywhere, that he thought of every Atithi as God himself. And in every living entity, he received the Atithi with faith and respect and gave them a share of the paisa. The Brahmana ate his share and left the place satisfied. After that, he divided the remaining paisam with his family. Rantideva was just about to eat his own share when another Atithi, a Shudra, arrived. Seeing the Shudra in a relationship with the Purushottam, again, seeing every Atithi as God, King Rantideva also gave him a share of the paisa. When the Shudra went away, another Atithi arrived, surrounded by dogs. He said, "O king, give me and my company of dogs some food because we're very hungry." With great respect, King Antideva offered the balance of the Paramanam or Paisam to him. Only drinking water was left, and that too enough for only one person. But when the king was just about to drink it, a Chandala appeared. Chandalas were like thought of as Vikramas. They were not very high class, so to say, and said, "O king, although I am lowborn, kindly give me some drinking water." And then this is the story how he attained moksha actually. Aggrieved at hearing the pitiable words of the poor fatigued Chandala, Antideva spoke the following Madhura Vakyas, or like sweet words. "I do not pray to the Lord for the Ashtasiddhis, nor for Vimukti from the Samsara Sagaram. I want to stay among all living entities and suffer all distresses on their behalf so that they may be freed from suffering. By offering my water to maintain the life of this poor Chandala who is struggling to live, I have been freed from all hunger, thirst, fatigue, trembling of the body, moroseness, distress, lamentation, and illusion." Having spoken thus, King Rantideva, although on the verge of death because of thirst, gave his own portion of the water to the Chandala without hesitation. The Trimurtis, who were Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, they appeared before Rantideva and, satisfied by his Dhatuvam or giving character, they blessed him. They revealed that they had come in the form of Brahmana, Shudra, and Chandala in order to test his Karuna, Daya, and Dhatruvam. Because Rantideva was a pure devotee, always thinking about Krishna and free from all material desires, Maya could not exhibit herself before him. On the contrary, for him, Maya entirely vanished exactly like in dream. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. The next presentation is from Lakshmikant. We will present on Lord Buddha.
So hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
Namaste, I'm Lakshmikant and today I'm gonna present upon Lord Buddha or known as Siddhartha Gautama. In Lumbini, near the border of Nepal and Bharat, about 2600 years ago, Siddhartha Gautama was born. He was married to Yashodhara. He realized that conditioned experiences could not provide lasting happiness or protection from suffering. After a long spiritual search, he went into deep meditation, where he realized the true nature of mind. He achieved the state of unconditional and lasting happiness, the state of enlightenment, of Buddhahood. For the rest of his life, Buddha taught anyone interested in how they could reach the same state. It was predicted that Siddhartha would become either a great king or a spiritual leader. Since his parents wanted a powerful ruler for their kingdom, they tried to prevent Siddhartha from seeing the unsatisfactory nature of the world. They surrounded him with every kind of pleasure. On a rare outing from his luxurious palace, he saw someone desperately sick. The next day, he saw a decrepit old man, and finally, a dead person. He was very upset to realize that old age, sickness, and death would come to everyone who he loved. Siddhartha had no refuge to offer them. Siddhartha decided to leave his royal responsibilities and his family in order to attain enlightenment. He left the palace secretly and set off alone into the forest. Over the next 6 years, he met many teachers and mastered their techniques. Finally, at a place called Bodh Gaya, the future Buddha decided to meditate until mind's true nature is revealed to him and that could benefit all beings. After spending 6 days and nights cutting through mind's most subtle obstacles, he reached enlightenment on the full moon day, a week before he turned 35. After his enlightenment, Buddha traveled on foot throughout northern Bharat. He taught constantly for 45 years. People of all castes and professions, from kings to courtesans, were drawn to him. Throughout his life, Buddha encourages students to question his teachings and confirm them through their own experience. Thank you.
Lakshmikant. Let's move to the presentation from Pranav. Pranav will present on Lord Mahavira.
So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yes, yes. So just a second.
Okay.
So okay, are you able to see my screen, sir?
Yeah, we can see. See the screen.
Namaste to everyone present in this meeting. So today I'm going to be talking about Lord Mahavira. When was Mahavira born? Mahavira was born in the 6th century to a royal family in Bihar in a place called Vaishala in India. He is also known as the Vardhamana of the 24th Tirthakarna of Jainism. He was a spiritual successor of the 23rd Tirthankara Parishavantha. His mother's name was Trishala and his father's name was Siddhartha. They were lay devotees of Parishavantha. Parishavantha was another sage. He abandoned all worldly possessions at the age of about 30 and left home in pursuit of spiritual awakening, becoming an ascetic. He practiced intense meditation and severe austerities for 12 and a half years, after which he attained Kevala Gyan. He died at 527 BC at Pavapuri, India. The major festivals associated with Mahavira are Mahavir, Jamma, Kalyanak, and Diwali. Jains celebrate Mahavir's birth as the 24th and last Tirthakarna. The 5 auspicious events of Mahavira's life are reenacted during the festival. Diwali is also known as the New Year for Jains. So, for Tamilians, for Jains, there are different New Years. For example, for Tamilians, it's Pongal, and for Jains, it's Diwali. Uh, so, Dhanyavad, thanks.
Thank you, Pranav. Good combination of pictures and writings. Next presentation is from Srishti about Patanjali.
Yes. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Srishti.
Namaste. Today I'll be speaking on sage Patanjali. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोतं प्रवरं मुनिना Patanjalim pranchaliranatosmi. This shloka shows the magnificence of Rishi Patanjali. By saying, I bow with my hand together to the eminent Patanjali, who removed the impurities of the mind through yoga, of speech through grammar, and of the body through medicine. Rishi Patanjali is known for his great works in Sanskritam. This includes Patanjali Yoga Darshana, Mahabhasya, and Charaka Pratisamhita. The greatest of these are his Yoga Sutras. The Yoga Sutras describe the traditions and philosophy of yoga. It contains 196 sutras that help to attain wisdom and self realization through yoga. By studying these sutras, the mind and body can be controlled. When this happens, all that is left is the soul. Sage Patanjali showed how the purpose of yoga is the quest of soul. It is believed that sage Patanjali is the incarnation of Adi Shesha, the thousand-headed snake of Vishnu, who was given a bone to see the Shiva Tandavam. Panini had written the basis of Sanskrit language on the beats of Shiva's Damaru. However, some of Panini's interpretations were wrong. So sage Patanjali was given the chance to see them and witness the Shiva Tandavam. This was how Mahabhasya was written. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Srishti. The next presentation is from Sampada. She will present on Madhvacharya.
Yes, so just a second. Madhvacharya. Early life. Madhvacharya was born on the west coast of Karnataka, Turunadu state in the 13th century India. He was born in Pajaka, Udupi. He became a sannyasi as a teenager, joining Brahma Sampradaya Guru Achyuta Preksha of Ekandi order. Madhva studied the classics of Hindu philosophy, particularly the principal Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras. Philosophy. The philosophy he preached was previously known as Tattvavada. Now it is known as Dvaita. He maintained that one's religion is not decided by birth but by his nature and personality. After studying in Udupi, Madhva traveled to Tamil Nadu where he continued to meet and debate with Advaita scholars. Works. Madhvacharya wrote many important commentaries on the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, Mahabharata, and Bhagavad Purana. Udupi Balakrishna Murthy. He has Madhvacharya has established a Balakrishna Murthy in Udupi that we see now. He obtained this deity by saving a ship in distress near the coast of Udupi. Madhvacharya signaled the ship to shore by waving lamps and flags. Convinced that it was through the grace of Madhva that the ship was saved, the ship's captain offered him a gift. Madhva chose the clay, which is Gopi Channa, that was used for the ship's ballast. Upon washing the clay, Madhvacharya discovered a beautiful deity of Sri Krishna, which he personally carried to Udupi and worshipped. This deity of Krishna is still worshipped today in the central temple of Udupi. Madhva's Udupi temple is one of the most important Krishna temples in Bharat. The lamp beside this deity of Krishna was lit by Madhvacharya himself and has never been extinguished till date. Thank you.
Thank you, Sampada. That was a good presentation on Madhvacharya. The next presentation is from Rupeshwar. He will present on Ramanujacharya. Rupesh?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Ramanujacharya was born at Siriperumbudur near Kanchipuram in Madras in 1017 AD. His father's name was Asuri Kesava Somayaji and mother's name was Kantimati, a granddaughter of Yamunacharya. Owing to the influence of Buddhism and onslaughts of Muslim invaders, the old Vedic religion was decaying. So, rejuvenated the old ancient religion in terms of Vaishnavism. He had his early education under his father. At the age of 15, he was put to a school at Kanchipuram. Later, Sri Yamunacharya, the chief of Sri Ranganatha temple at Srirangam, wanted to install him formally as his successor. But unfortunately, Yamunacharya died before Ramanuja reached Srirangam. Ramanuja paid his last respects to him and noticed that the three fingers of his fingers, I mean, noticed that three of his fingers remained folded. On enquiry whether he had any specific wishes to be fulfilled, he was told that the Acharya had left three commands for him. The first was that he should dedicate himself to the elucidation of the Vedantic Shastras, the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. The second was that he should popularize the Divya Prabandhas. The third one was that he should train disciples worthy to carry on the high traditions of Vaishnavism when the high traditions of Vaishnavism. When Ramanuja took a vow to fulfill the commands, the closed fingers slowly opened out in a mysterious manner. At the age of 25, he married and led the life of a householder. But his life was not very helpful to his pursuit on spirituality and service. Later on, he left his wife and set out as a wandering monk and attracted a large number of followers. He was initiated by Purna, another disciple of Yamunacharya. When he was given the Moha Mantram, he was filled with ecstasy and such desire for the redemption of all beings that he went up the temple tower and calling together the people, proclaimed the mantram in a trumpet voice. The Guru was astounded at the strange behavior of Ramanuja and scolded him for a breach on instructions. It was sacred secret, Ramanuja asked. What is the punishment for the transgression? Hell, said the Guru. The reward for chanting the mantra was heaven. As I have helped so many to go to heaven, I do not care if I myself go to hell. The teacher's heart was touched and he embraced him, saying, "You are not my disciple, you are my guru." After this incident, his name spread over the length and breadth of the country. His teaching is called the Ramanuja Darsana. Ramanuja's fame as a great teacher began to spread. He met and defeated in argument several scholars. Many of them became his disciples. He lived in Srirangam for nearly 50 years. He undertook a pilgrimage from Rameshwaram to Badrinath. He had written many valuable books, viz. Sri Bhashyam and commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta Deepa, Vedanta Sara, Vedanta Sangraha, and Godyatraya, etc. Having completed his mission, he passed away in 1137 AD, in his 120th year. Thank you.
Thank you, Kishore. And the next presentation is by Srihari. He will present on Alvas.
Yes, sir. So can you see?
Yeah, it's coming.
Good morning to one and all present here. My name is Srihari. I am going to present about Alvas. Who are Alvas? The devotees of Lord Vishnu or Narayana are known as Vaishnavas who are spread over time and placed in our subcontinent over the centuries before and after the Common Era. It is proposed to refer to some of the aspects of Vaishnava Sampradayam or Sri Vaishnavas South South India as practiced and preached by 12 Alvas, saint poets who started and spread the Bhakti movement in 7th to 10th century CE. Alvas had left behind a legacy of devotional Tamil poetry known as Divya Prabandha. There are 12 Alvas. They are known as Poigai Alvar, Bhutat Alvar, Pei Alvar, Peri Alvar, Sri Andal, Tirumai Isai Alvar, Kulashekara Alvar, Tirumangai Alvar, Tiruppan Alvar, Nammalvar, Tondar Adi Podi Alvar. Andal composed Tiruppavai, which is very sacred and sung during the month of Margazhi, which is December to January. All Alvars have composed many hymns in praise of Lord Vishnu and have contributed a lot to the Bhakti movement. Thank you.
Thank you, Srihari. The next presentation is by Shraddha. She will present on Mahaprabhu Chaitanya. Shraddha?
Yes, sir. One second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Good morning, everyone. Today I will be talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a 15th century Indian saint considered by his devotees to have been an avatar of Lord Krishna. He was born as the second son of Jagannath Mishra and his wife Sati Devi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mode of worshipping Krishna with ecstatic songs and dance had a profound effect on Vaishnavism in Bengal. When traveling to Gaya to perform the Shraddha ceremony of his departed father, Chaitanya met his guru, the ascetic Ishwara Puri, from whom he received initiation with the Gopala Krishna mantra. Gaudiya Vaishnavism, also known as Bengali Vaishnavism and Chaitanya Vaishnavism or the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, is a Vaishnava Hindu religious movement inspired by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gaudiya refers to the Gauda region of Bengal, with Vaishnavism meaning the worship of Lord Vishnu. Its theological basis is primarily that of the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavata Purana, as interpreted by early followers of Chaitanya, such as Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Gopala Bhatta Goswami, and others. The essence of Vrindavan was lost over time until the 16th century, when it was rediscovered by Chaitanya. In the year 1515, Chaitanya visited Vrindavan with the purpose of locating the lost holy places associated with Lord Krishna's pastimes. He wandered through the different forests of Vrindavan in a spiritual trance. By his spiritual power, he was able to locate many important places that also include the Sapt Devalaya, which are worshipped by the Vaishnavas in the Chaitanya tradition to this day. Chaitanya's direct teachings are recorded in Sanskrit verses called Siddhastakam, Chaitanya's theological teachings are summarized as 10 root principles called the Dasamula. The statements of Amnaya scripture are the chief proof. By these statements, the following 9 topics are taught. Krishna is the supreme and absolute truth. Krishna is endowed with all energies. Krishna is the source of all rasa, flavor, quality, or spiritual emotion. The jivas are individual souls are separated from parts of the Lord. In bound state, the jivas are under the influence of matter due to their tatastha, that is, marginal nature. In the liberated state, the jivas are free from the influence of matter. The jivas and the material world are both different from and identical to the Lord. Pure devotion is the only way to attain liberation, and pure love of Krishna is the ultimate goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Shraddha. Good slides. The next presentation is from Shreya. Shreya will present on King Bhagirath.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you share my PPT?
No, we can't see it. Yeah, now we can see.
Namaste. I'm going to present on Bhagirath. Bhagirath was the son of great King Dilip, who brought river Ganga to earth. His father and grandfather tried their best to get the river to earth but failed. His ancestors, who angered the renowned Rishi Kapila, were reduced to ashes. To get them a place in Pitruloka, river Ganga had to be brought down to earth. It was the indefatigable effort of Bhagirath that made it possible for river Ganga to arrive on earth from heaven. He was fired with the zeal and obligation from his ancestors and performed severe penance and meditation on the river. Um, Goddess Ganga was pleased with his devotion and commitment appeared before Bhagirath. He was happy at her presence. He reminded her how she took birth from the sacred feet of Lord Vishnu when as Vamana he took Vishwarupa. Emperor Bali had then performed Abhishekam to the lotus feet of the Lord with the water from his Kambandalu. The water became river Mandakini and called Vishnupadi also. Goddess Ganga asked why he performed such a severe tapa. Bhagirath told her about the faith of his ancestors and how they can attain Pitruloka by her touch. While agreeing to his desire, she said that she would be descending to earth with a terrific speed and reach the netherworld Patalok. Then all his efforts would be in vain. She was reluctant to come down to earth as she would be polluted by sinners and others who bathed in her water. Bhagirath then said her she would be purified if great saints, rishis and seers take bath in the water. He said that only Lord Shiva could control the speed of descending Ganga and that he would request the Lord to help him. Goddess Ganga agreed to descend on the head of Lord Shiva. While redoubled energy, once again Bhagirath performed penance prohibiting Lord Shiva. When Lord appeared Bhagirath explained him his aim and how his ancestors could reach Pitraloka. He requested the Lord to receive the speeding goddess Ganga in his matted log and release her slowly later so that she could follow him. Lord Shiva stood firm and with raised chest with both hands on the back with his Trishula. Ganga came down with a terrific speed. Creator Brahma and Indra and all other devas stood in utter amazement to witness the grand spectacle. Bhagirath was extremely happy at the thought of his ancestors reaching the destined Pitraloka. But suddenly Ganga became proud at the thought of Lord Shiva receiving her on his head. Sensing her pride and arrogance, the Lord imprisoned her in the maze of the matted lock. Ganga disappeared in the matted locks of the Lord. Bhagirath was shocked at this and prayed to the Lord for release of Ganga. Pleased with Bhagirath, the Lord released Ganga slowly through a branch of his matted hair. Ganga followed Bhagirath as he led him to the place where his ancestors were reduced to ashes by the furious dog by Rishi Kapila. On the way, the water disturbed the penance of Rishi Janhu, who took the entire river into the Kadmandalu. Bhagirath had to beg his pardon for the release of water from Rishi Janhu. Thus, Ganga came to be called Janhavi. Thus, through the tenacity, perseverance, and hard work of Bhagirath, Deva Ganga descended to earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Sagar. Good presentation. The next presentation is from Mrinal. Mrinal will present on Kambam. Mrinal?
Sir, I'm not yet done with the PPT. Can I present it next class?
Fine, fine. With that, we'll move to the next presentation by Hari Krishna. He will present on Tiruvalluvar. Hari Krishna? Are you prepared? Harish Krishna?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 1 second, sir. I'm sharing.
Okay.
Sir, can you see to share?
No.
Sir, can you see my screen?
No. Yeah, it's coming up now. Yeah, I can see.
Namaste all. Today I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be presenting on Tiruvalluvar, and prolific poet in Tamil history. The life of Tiruvalluvar. His life and background are not known, however, it is inferred from his literary works. It is believed that he was born in a town named Mylapore, which is in present-day Tamil Nadu. Present-day Tamil Nadu. It is said that he lived in the late 4th BCE to the early 5th BCE based on his writings. Tiruvalluvar's parents names were Adi, his mother, Bhagwan, his father. His wife's name was Vasuki. Tiruvalluvar Day is celebrated on 15th January. Notable works by Tiruvalluvar. One of his most famous works is known as the Tirukural, which is written in classic Tamil, consisting of 1,330 short couplets, which is divided into three adhikaram, which is books. Those are virtue, aram, wealth, porul, and love in Bam. Tiruvalluvar statue. There is a Tiruvalluvar statue in Kanyakumari. It's a stone sculpture which is 41 meters in 41 meters. The speciality is that the feet in the measurement is 133 feet, which represents the number of adhikarams in the Quran. Dhanyavad. Thank you for listening to my presentation today.
Thank you, Harish Krishna. Good presentation. The next presentation is from Avyakta Krishna. Avyakta, she will present on July.
So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Namaste. I am Avyakta, and I am going to be presenting on Jwelal. In the second half of the 10th century, a king named Makrab Khan, who ruled today's Sindh in Pakistan, converted the Hindus forcefully without their will. The rishis in the area did not like this and prayed to the river Sindhu for 40 days. The god heard these prayers and told them that Lord Varuna would be born among them and stop the tyrant rules. When he was born, he revealed his personality to his parents. He used to rock himself in the cradle and hence named Jwelal, which meant Lord of Swing. The birth message spread very fast, and the wazir of the place came to investigate. And Jwelal turned into an old man from baby form instantly. The wazirs reported this to the king, who ordered his arrest. When the soldiers came to arrest him, they were stopped by burning towers of their palace and a flood. And then Jwelal's voice echoed, saying, "Whom you call Allah and we call Krishna are all the same." After this, the people believed that Jwelal swallowed the earth and old stuck tyrant was transformed. Thank you.
Thank you, Arati Krishna. Let us move ahead with the next presentation from Neeraj. Neeraj, are you ready with the presentation? Is he there? Think he is not there. So next one is from Dhruti.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she will present on Yogi Goraknath.
Yeah. One second. I'm going to present on Yogi Goraknath. Um, Early age, Yogi Goraknath was born to a poor family at Punjab in 18th century. At a very early age, he lost his father and his devoted mother took the charge of her only son. At the age of 12, he left home to become a sannyasi and went to Pashupatinath temple in Nepal. There he met his guru Yogi Matsendra Nath under his guidance. Goraknath practiced Hatha Yoga, Laya Yoga, etc., also expertised in tantric activities, by which he became all-rounder Ashto Siddhi Yogi. He encouraged many new ideas in the yogic process, and for this he was respectfully known as Mahayogi Goraknath in the society of rishis and saints. A powerful leader, his influence is found in the numerous references to him in the poetry of Kabir and Guru Nanak Dev. It describes him as a very powerful leader with a large followers, suggesting he likely lived around the time the spiritual leaders lived in India. Goraknath was a Buddhist in a religion influenced by Shaivism and converted to Hinduism. Goraknath led a life with the passionate ideas of Adi Shankaracharya and Kumarila that championed the yogic and the Advaita Vedanta interpretation of the Upanishads. These are some pictures of the temple. Popularity. He was one of the nine saints, also known as Navnath, who was popular in Maharashtra, India. He was a Hindu master yogi, commonly regarded as the Khapat Yoga or yogi, or an order practicing strict self denials as a measure of personal and especially spiritual discipline of Hatha Yoga. He is considered as Mahayogi in the Hindu tradition. Goraknath championed yoga, spiritual discipline, and ethical life of self determination as a mean of reaching one's own spiritual truth. His yogis and ideas have been highly popular in rural areas, with monasteries and temples dedicated to him found in many states of India, particularly in Gorakhpur. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhruti. That was a good presentation. So few of presentations are still left, but we are coming to an end of the session. So whoever is left will let them present in the next week. Okay. So a few guidelines on the presentations. Okay. So whenever you present, it should not be like text. It should not have complete sentences. It should be a maybe a single word or a phrase, which will make the viewers to listen to the presentation rather than reading the presentation. So if you write a complete sentence or a paragraph and everything, it will make the people to read that presentation and listen lesser to the presenter. So try to make it a short presentation. The slides should be short. That means it should be a single word or a phrase, and combined with a more pictures so that they can easily grasp what and how about it that the presentation is going on. So with this, the today's presentation, I found Dhruti's presentation to be crisp and to the point. So as I said, it is giving only the points which are to be remembered, not the complete sentences. Good presentation, Dhruti. So whoever is presenting next week, so try to follow that. Try to have pictures plus a few words only, or the points which are having with words and the phrases. Okay. So with that, let us come to the conclusion of today's session. So as from last 2 weeks, we will continue to interact with parents. Whoever is with the parent, they can stay after the Shanti Mantra. So others can disconnect. So let us conclude today's session with by Shanti Mantra from Mridal.
Yes, sir.
Mridal? Yeah,
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead with the Shanti Mantra.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
धन्यवाद everyone.
धन्यवाद सर
धन्यवाद सर.
धन्यवाद सर.